what we're staring at, I will point to this gear here in front of you, right there, this gear. All right, and down a little bit lower, that gear down there, this one right here, that one. They must, and absolutely must, spin independently on this shaft. There's the top of that, okay? So if we were to take these all apart, that shaft right there, this gear and the one on the opposite side, what we call the shift fork, right, Nate? That's your shift fork down in there. It goes in back and forth, and to a degree, it runs cogs into this one and then into this one. Now that creates your forward and your reverse on your Fuji transmission. Now what I'm looking at here, and I'm going to give you a good side of it, is they have a terrible time with this bearing right here. It fails, drops, right? Now on the opposite side, I'm going to tell you right now, when it goes into that bearing, well, the whole gear drops and then it chews it up back in there. So that the pulley, like this, that's down, way down in here, will not oscillate on here anymore. And it locks the rear end up on your Fuji transmissions, okay? So, if you got any other questions, know this. That all this can be removed, and with this shaft left right in it, okay? People think it's impossible, but it's not. Right? Remember one thing also. When this bearing's pulled, there's a spacer down in there. Must be in there, okay? The very bottom gear down in there has a spacer between it and the bearing. Okay, so it rides. If it doesn't, you know what'll happen? I'll point right out to you. Hang on here. Get right down in here. See this gear? See where I got my screwdriver between the casing and the gear? Without that spacer behind that, that gear runs right into the casing, right? Some people forget to put that in and they get it locked up as well. So, this is your output shaft, right? That goes down through there. And of course, you got your drive gear. So your drive gear goes right straight in. See how that works? And rotates this main shaft. Okay? So your planet, this gear and the one on the bottom are supposed to be loose no matter what. What is between it decides whether it turns any other gear. Alright? So if a Fuji gets locked up, okay, where it won't go in forward or reverse, let's say it goes in forward but it won't go in reverse, you can bet that there's been a problem with this bearing or the one on the direct other side, creating the issue for these to spin freely when they need to be. Okay? So don't kid yourself. The reason I'm putting a sealed bearing on there with grease in it is because it's at the top of the gear casing. It doesn't fill up that far. See what I'm saying? So at this point right now, I've got the back side of it picked off so that fluid can get in there. All right? This is going to be literally up inside the casing itself. All right? So now it'll bathe from the bottom in, and it'll be in good shape. So you can get that bearing, just pick the back side of this seal off right here, that steel seal. Just get a thing in there and pick it, and it peels right out of there. So then it looks like this, directly underneath here, right down inside here. All right? So it ain't pretty, and I got to tell you, what a pain in the ass, but I got it all figured out. But nobody on the internet has this. No Fuji transmission, inner workings, in the whole 9 yards, okay? So, know this. These pretty much, that runs the rear end. See what I'm saying to you? These are gear reductions and for like reverse, you know, and then you've got your governor here, right? So when you're putting that governor on, you want to make sure that this right here is up tight against that when you're putting the entire casing back on. Excuse all my ketchup bottles holding this stuff up, but trust me, if you do this job in your kitchen table at home, you do whatever you can to get it to work. So that's where we're at. Okay, I know this is a bit up straight, but you know, this is how it's going to have to work. So I'll get the casing put back on just because the seals are on it and it'll be okay. But this unit would not drive. It literally would lock up. Okay, and that's going to sound a little weird, but none of the gears would move in it. And that's that primary shaft, once again, seizing up onto these two gears, that one and this one, down in the very bottom here. I'll get around here to the other side so you can see it. That one down there, if that bearing up here drops, it'll cock that and scar the shaft in between the two. So you got to clean them up, and have them taken to a shop. And it's pretty basic. Just have them cleaned up so that they'll work. All right. So there we are.